is called Molly Moon Stops the World by Georgia Bing. So this is a sequel to The Incredible Book of Hypnotism. So if you haven't watched this book review, definitely watch this first because you'll need it. So Molly was with all the prize money. Molly was just repairing the orphanage with her friend Rocky. But one day she tries out an experiment, and she tried to hypnotize people with her eye glare that made people get hypnotized. But one day she tried that on a plant or some kind of like cloud, and something happened. She's not sure. A kind of cold, prickly sensation going around her body. Around that time, Lucy Logan summons Molly, and Lucy Logan believes that a very powerful hypnotist billionaire called Primo Cell has been hypnotizing very famous stars like Hercules Stone, like boxers, to do his commercial ads. Because thing is that because Hercules Stone is normally a very strong muscle man, he would never do a commercial about washing dishes. And there's even more proof, but that will be kind of overwhelming because this video will be like 1 hour long. So let's just cut it there. So Molly and Rocky go together to Los Angeles, and they find Primo Cell's house. And it's very massive because duh, he's a billionaire. So they sneak into Primo Cell's office when he's not there, and they learn something about E-Gay, a thing that Primo Cell is preparing on some date. On some kind of date. So one day while they're on some kind of like but all the like actresses and like Hercules Stone, all those like TV stars that Primo Cell hypnotized is all gonna be on some kind of stage on like stage in a few weeks. So they decide to go there and kind of investigate longer and try to like undo the hypnotism that Primo Cell did to them. And they tried to go there and they succeeded in like meeting the stars 1v1. But the thing is that Molly tried her best to undo the hypnotism, but it turned out because Primo Cell's hypnotism was so powerful that it couldn't be undone by Molly. He had some kind of more powerful, like locked hypnosis that Molly didn't know about. It needed some kind of passcode, which she didn't know. And Rocky was not very good at that either. So they both decided that they should kind of investigate on a new kind of hypnosis that Primo Cell had invented. And one day, while all the famous stars that Primo Cell had hypnotized comes to Primo Cell's house, they would like secretly go in and investigate what Primo Cell is doing. And it turns out that Primo Cell, they're like hiding behind a curtain, and it turns out that Primo Cell was actually, what happened was the diamond that Molly had been like keeping in the first book, it turned out if you had that diamond, you could stop time. If you had like a crystal, you could stop time. And even if someone else stopped time, you could still like be unfrozen during that time. So the thing is, they were spying behind the curtain, and it turns out that Primo Cell freezes time first, and then he hypnotizes them in the freeze state. But of course, Rocky couldn't see this because Rocky hadn't been wearing a crystal. But Molly saw this, and she tried herself to like stop time, and it actually worked. But by then, Molly and Rocky were unfortunately found, and Primo Cell caught them, and he put them in an underground layer where he would murder them. And Molly tries her best, Molly tries her best to hypnotize Primo Cell, but it's impossible. It's like oil sliding off water. It's just impossible. No trace of like any doubt. So Primo Cell brings them to his murdering room, and Molly Moon stops time as long as they can to live as longer as they can. And once the knife starts falling, they just sort of black out, and they wake up in some kind of bench, like winter. And it turns out that Primo Cell's son doesn't like his father because he's adopted too. So in the last moments when Molly couldn't hold stopping time any longer, Primo Cell's son also stopped time because he also had a crystal and he also knew how to do decent hypnosis and time stopping. So Molly had blacked out, and so did Rocky because he was frozen. So Primo Cell's son had carried them, and it turns out that he spent months with Molly and Rocky together. Like they played guitar, they did all sorts of things. But after that, Primo Cell's son erased their thoughts, and then they woke up on the bench in winter. So after Primo Cell's son tells all that to Molly and Rocky, it turns out there are a lot of things that happened. First, Mr. Knockman and Mr. Trinkleberry, the housemaid, had been married, engaged. So the E-Day I was talking about before in the book was actually called Election Day, because since Primo Cell is so powerful in hypnosis and could even stop time, he wanted to be president, so it stood for Election Day. It turns out that Election Day already happened, and he did become president, but he's not officially president yet. He had to like gather all his work crews and finally decide if he would be president or not, like the final decision. And they had a very small window of time before Primo Cell did that. So it turns out that Primo Cell had a lot of crystals because, I mean, he had hypnotized a bunch of hypnotists back in the past, and he took all their crystals, and he wears all of them to make such powerful time stopping. And one day, Molly actually sneaks into the gathering where Primo Cell decides if he'll be president or not, and wears some anti-hypnotic refraction glasses. So of course Primo Cell would like to hypnotize all his attendants to ensure he'll be president. So Molly dressed up as one of those people, and when Primo Cell shot her a hypnotic glance, it ricocheted off her glasses and it hit Primo Cell dead in the face. It hypnotized her. So hypnotized him. So Primo Cell was hypnotized and they completely reformed it. But the thing is that once they started looking at Primo Cell for answers, it's true. This is something very important, that it turns out that Lucy Logan was actually Molly's mother, because the thing is, the person who had hypnotized Primo Cell, because Primo Cell wasn't always bad from the start. Someone had hypnotized him 11 years ago and made him become bad, and that person was Cornelius Logan, Lucy Logan's twin brother. So for 11 years, he was very bad, and now that he was refueled to his good state, he told him everything that happened. So it turns out that Lucy Logan is Molly's mother, and Cornelius Logan, his twin brother, aka, had hypnotized her to not remember her own daughter. But the thing is, since Lucy Logan met Molly, but binded hypnosis started to unravel. And when Lucy Logan finally knew that Molly was her son, she went straight to Cornelius Logan and tried to hypnotize him. Bad mistake, because Lucy Logan was also hypnotized. So yeah, it was pretty shocking to know all that in one blow. So Molly was almost blacked out because of all the information. But it turns out that Cornelius Logan now knows that his primo cell that he hypnotized is unhypnotized. So Cornelius Logan comes right away, and first he freezes time, and everyone except him and Molly were all frozen. And Molly could never actually beat him by just hypnotizing each other. So Molly learns how to Molly learns how to stop time on top of stop time, and stop time again and again and again. So eventually, Molly overwhelmed Cornelius Logan, and so Cornelius Logan eventually told Molly about everything, and Molly Moon convinced him he was a goat, and it just became a goat, a human goat, that is. So now since everything was all sorted out, they came back and found that Professor Noggman and Miss Trinkleberry were married. So it was a happily ever after. But the last part of the book. So I told you that Lucy Logan was hypnotized, and since Molly knows that Lucy Logan is her mother, so when Cornelius Logan hypnotized Lucy Logan, he hypnotized her so she herself would lock herself in a special vault inside Square Park. So Molly, who is now Molly Logan, goes to rescue her mother, and she does. And it ends like that. So it's a very happy ending. And again, the plot twist. This was a banger, because the plot twist that Molly's mother was Lucy Logan, I could have never suspected that. In Primo Cell, I thought he was bad from the start, but it turns out he wasn't, because it's very hard to think of plot twists like these. And this book is 300 pages long, and it was definitely worth it to read it. And so I don't understand how it took only 1 year to make this. So I guess this is the end of my book review.